To download the jQuery UI plugin, what you do is you either click on the download link up here in the title, or you click on the little build custom download button over here, and you have a choice of downloading the most recent version of jQuery UI, which at the time of this is 1.7.2, which works with the base 1.3 jQuery library, or the older version 1.6, and that's if you're using jQuery up through version 1.2.6, which was the older stable version of the library before the most recent update. So what I'm going to do is click on the build custom download. When I do this, it takes me to a page where I can build the download that I want. So there's a couple things I need to do. First, I need to select which components that I want to download. And you can see that there's 25 of them. And right now, all 25 are selected. And it's broken up into various categories. So there's the UI core, and you have to have this in order to use the jQuery UI. You should leave that one selected. But scrolling down, you can see that there are various categories that correspond to the jQuery UI categories that we investigated earlier. There's the interactions, and there's the widgets, and then there's the effects. So I can choose which parts of the jQuery UI library I want to download by checking off the various checkboxes. And you can see over here, there's an indicator of what the file size is that I'm about to download. There's the uncompressed file size, and it shows me about how big it would be in the minified version, which is the compressed version. So as I start checking some of these guys off, you can see that if I'm trying to get rid of something that is a dependency, it says, oh, you can't do that. So that's not going to let me check that guy off. But if I start coming down here and saying, hey, I want to get rid of this guy, I want to get rid of this guy, and I want to get rid of this guy, you can see that the file size is going down as I check things off. So for now, I'm just going to leave everything checked. So that's how you choose what you want to download in the library. So moving over here to the right-hand side, you can select also what theme you want to download. Here is a list of all of the various themes. We're going to use the Sunny theme because that's going to go with our example later on in the course. You can see I can also design a custom theme, and that was the theme roller that we looked at previously. There's some other theme settings I can use. I'm not going to go through these because they're kind of advanced, but you can choose which theme you want to download. Here's where you choose which version you want to download, and right now it's set to the most current version, which is jQuery 1.3 library, which is what we've been using. But if you're using an older version, you can choose to download 1.6 instead. So once I've got everything set to the way that I want it to be, what I do is I click the download function, and that will download a custom-built zip file that I will save onto my desktop. Now, I'm not going to do that because that's going to take a couple of minutes, but I've already done it, so let's go to the desktop and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes down to your machine. Here is the zip file that gets downloaded onto your computer. And you can see it says jQuery UI 172 custom, and that's because I built a customized download. If we explore this zip file, you'll see a couple of things. First, there's the JS folder, and this contains the JavaScript code for both the jQuery library, the most current version, that's 1.3.2. This is the minified version, so it's been compressed down. And it also contains the JavaScript code for the jQuery UI library, and that's version 1.7.2. You can see it's the custom version, and that's also been compressed. You also get the CSS that you downloaded, and this is the theme. So I downloaded the Sunny theme, and this is the theme that I downloaded. So there's the CSS file for it, and here's all the images that go along with that theme. You also get a development bundle, and this contains all of the documentation and demos and the uncompressed version of jQuery library that you can use to build your applications. So let's close the zip file. Let's open the folder. So this is the folder in its uncompressed form. You can see right here at the root level is an index page. I'm just going to bring that up in the browser so you can see what this is. This shows you all of the components that you downloaded in the theme that you chose. So I chose the Sunny theme, and you can see here's my accordion control, and here's my tabs, and here's my dialog, and everything that I downloaded in the current theme that I chose to use. That's that. Let's close that and go back to the folder. Inside the JavaScript library, you can see there's the JavaScript code that I'm using in my examples. Inside the development bundle, if you look inside the docs folder, this is the documentation for all of the different controls, widgets, interactions, and so on. What I'm going to do though is go into the demos, and you can see that all of the demos got downloaded as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring up this page in the browser, and you can see that I now have local versions of all of the interactions and widgets and effects that I was able to play with on the remote jQuery site. So if I just bring up the accordion, for example, you can see that this is the UI demo that we saw online with all of the examples, and I can go ahead and view the source. So here's the source code for this particular example. You can copy this source code right into your project that you're using and play around with it. And that's pretty much all you need to know about downloading it. So once you've downloaded it, this is the JavaScript code and this is the CSS that you're going to copy into your local site. And we're going to see how to do that when we build a real site later on in the course.